updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning again, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know the conversation always gets pretty juicy when we're here on a morning, and this morning is one like no other. This morning, I have the privilege of speaking again with someone who's quite familiar to this set. We have Assemblyman Terance Baynes, also known as Bishop Terry Baynes, and he is also the Secretary for the Division of Community Development, Youth Development, and Sport. And this morning, we're going to be chatting a little bit about the realities of being an area representative. Now, recently, if you guys have been following him on social media, you would have seen that he took to his Facebook page sometime over the weekend, where he expressed some of the stresses, the perils, and the realities that it takes to be a assemblyman and an area representative with the responsibility of developing a community. Good morning, sir, and how are you doing?
Good morning. I am fine, and good morning to all the viewers, and thank you for having me.
Good morning. I don't want you to be despondent at all,
No,
because we're going to have a very fruitful discussion this morning.
I'm not at
And
all.
it's very important for people to understand the reality behind the pen and behind the ceremonies and behind the trips and behind all the public photos and
Yes.
everything that is being seen, that they can see. There's a lot more that goes behind that.
Yes.
So what would have prompted you to really decide that you wanted to let people know that it isn't all glitz and glamour and it is harder than it looks?
I was listening to the Honorable Tevin Andrews, who is an MP in the Grenada Parliament with responsibility for Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and also local government. And he was on one of his morning walks, and he did this live talking to his constituents and so on, and just it was not a complaining live, it was more an edification live, And as I listened to him, I felt that most of the things that he was talking about, there were things that were endemic to me and to a lot of us, and perhaps to the average area representative. And it inspired me, in all honesty. I was encouraged, and it inspired me to do a live of my own. I want to say from the very onset that my live was not intended to be as a complaint. I see some people on social media saying I have been crying on social media and begging and written. Nothing could be further from the truth. I am not frustrated to the place of giving up either. And I think opinions are like noses. Everybody has one. So people will assess what you do for different reasons,
Right.
and they will come to their conclusion. But suffice it to say that the intent of the live really was for edification purposes.
Right, and there are many persons that may say, didn't you see it as being sufficient maybe just to share his life and just express how you can relate, as opposed to you doing your own life to express your own situation, because of the fact
I understand.
that
Yes.
the political situation in Tobago is quite different from that of Grenada, especially seeing that we just came out of a 21-year reign of the previous administration, and that the expectations that were placed on the people of Tobago in regards to the type of change what your administration had called fixing it is totally different from the expectations of the persons in Grenada. Can you respond to that?
Well, the thing is, that can be a perspective, and I don't have a problem with persons who may have that perspective. However, I felt that the issues that he was raising were common to all area reps, you understand, and applicable to our situation. He was doing that on a more personal note, in the sense that he was talking to his constituency. And I felt, because of some of the dynamics of what we are treating with at this particular point in time, that there was credence in doing one like that, so that people in the Bethel New Grange constituency can have a better appreciation for this vocation, and by extension in our context. So I didn't think that there was any injury there.
Right.
And like I said, it must be made abundantly clear that the intent of this is for edification purposes.
But we
purely.
understand the philosophy
Yes,
of
yes.
the average person, which is that persons judge us on our action and the result as opposed to our intention.
Indeed.
So then this brings into question, as an independent right now, because this is how you guys stand, you guys are independent.
Yes.
Do you see yourself as being a part of a whole body, or do you really see yourself as an individual area representative?
Yeah, we are a whole group of independents. That's
right.
one.
And so then the question is, did you receive buy-in from your colleagues to go ahead and do a live like this? And do you think that they support the move that you made to do this live over the weekend?
Well, I mean, as an area representative and so on, I don't know that you have to, get approval from everybody to do a live.
Right.
It will be expected that you would be responsible as an area representative. So if you decide to do something like that, that the intent of the live is not going to run afoul with the philosophy of the team. You understand? I think all of us understand that. And so the issues raised in the live are issues that are endemic to all of us. You understand? And more importantly, trying to treat with the expectations of the population. None of us are trying to get away from that. We know that the expectations are very high. That is manifested in the community visits that we are doing, the community meetings and so on. We see people coming and that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with you expressing your desire and needs and so on. I think the issue of the timelines of getting the problems solved, the expectations and so on, sometimes it can be unreasonable, you understand, within the timeline that we are in the office. And of course, there are people who have different views and so on, and people think that they have a stake in this, and they figure that the kind of messaging that came from the team during the campaign and so on, people feel like, okay, we should have gotten this by now, and I should have been working by now. I should have gotten something from settlements. I should have gotten my road fixed and all those kinds of things. So we are managing a whole island, attempting to manage a whole island and so on, and trying to treat with the different needs and concerns and so on, to the best of our ability within the resource environment that we are functioning.
Right, and then, so my follow-up question would be to you is, do you guys have any type of PR support? Because in a situation like this, we would think that there is some level of strategy behind any type of public utterances or appearances that are made. And in a situation like this, a PR professional would be able to say, okay, this is the message that you're trying to get out there, but this is also how it can be interpreted. So because of that, this may be a better approach to take to get that message across, as opposed to coming across in a way that could be interpreted as you complaining or you crying, as many persons would have said on social media.
Remember I said that is a point of view, and I don't know that the individuals who say that are in the majority. That's the first thing.
But I'm asking, is there PR support that you can tap into before you go ahead and publicly make utterances
what I'm saying to you is that I did not think that particular live required those parameters. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and now when you see the type of response, public response or backlash that came from
there's no backlash.
Okay.
There's no backlash. And I want to make it very clear. We must not interpret, because people will have different views. You post the nicest thing you could post. There are some persons that may have a personal problem with you as an individual. So no matter how excellent your post is, you will get some negative people. That is Facebook. Yeah, this is social media. There are some people, they are cowards. They don't have the constitution to tell you things to your face, so they will take to Facebook where there's no responsibility. They could say what they want. You understand what I'm saying? So I do not see the live thing. I was just saying that certain people express those opinions. I think that in essence, the intent of the live was realized so that people could have a better appreciation. You understand? So I don't feel that I have run afoul with the public with the live at all.
Okay. And looking back at it, what would you say to your own colleagues that are a group of independents who might say, sorry, speak for yourself. I knew what I signed up for. I knew that this would be a difficult task at hand, but although you said this is something that kind of represents what we're all facing, speak for yourself, because my situation is quite different.
Well, I don't think that is applicable in this situation. I really don't think so, because I was very careful to treat with matters that are endemic to us all, to the average area representative. In fact, let me put it that way, to the average area, anywhere as a matter of fact. You understand? Those were the issues that I was trying to address. I mean, one cannot, of course, unilaterally, because there are exceptions to every rule, and I think that is understandable. But there are some matters that all of us as area reps and so on have to contend with, whether you're in government, you're in opposition, or wherever, or independent. You understand? There are some matters, because the people that vote for you and so on have certain expectations, But there's also the responsibility, the mutual respect that is supposed to exist between the area rep and the people that they serve and so on. And sometimes those lines get very blurred. And there is need for an explanation of things, or perhaps even a sensitizing of people to those things. You see?
Excellent. And so for some of the persons who may not have watched the live, you would have expressed some of those issues as being the inability to deliver some of the expectations of the people within a particular time frame. As you said, people are expecting that they would have gotten jobs. Persons are expecting that some persons who would have continuously been getting contracts before that the procurement would have been opened up in such a way to allow for new businesses to have opportunities, and a number of other things that continue to be pressing issues within the space whereby expectations are concerned. And so you were saying that there are a number of things that prohibit you guys from being able to deliver on that level. Talk about some of the other realities that you would have highlighted for people who didn't watch the live.
So one of the main issues really was the issue of employment and how many persons can be employed reasonably, in a given timeline. We know employment is an issue in Tobago, and not just Tobago, but in other jurisdictions. But we understand COVID has happened, and we are still reeling from the fallout of COVID. There were a lot of persons that were either unemployed or underemployed prior to COVID. So COVID came and exacerbated that problem. Okay, so you come now as a group of people vying to move into the corridors of power, and from your perspective, you intend to try and create a better environment for people to thrive, right? I cannot remember at all, although people are saying that, I cannot remember any commitment to employ the whole of Tobago. Nobody in their right mind will make that kind of commitment, nor did this administration do. You understand? But our commitment was to create the environment. And we have to, of course, make employment become a reality for some. All of us understand that. But I think that we didn't have a crystal ball to see the magnitude of the unemployed masses. That's one. We didn't have any scientific data to say, well, from age 20 to 30, how many persons are unemployed, male, female ratio, and so on. But we knew that was there. So since we came into the corridors of power, we've been doing the best that we could to try and employ as many people. And then we have to assess the needs, because there are some people that are in a much more grievous need than others. There are some people that are working already and they just want a different work. There are some people, there are some of the social support systems that are put in place are ideally put there for people that need that support. But there are some people that don't have that kind of need but find themselves in that program. So it clogs up the thing, and the people that really need the service can't get it. So we have to try and do our best to optimize these platforms, and so that we can deliver to the best of our ability.
And do you think that you guys are being judged a bit unfairly compared to the previous administration, seeing that you have only been in power for a year and a couple months?
I believe so.
But why do you think that is?
Well, I think sometimes goodwill the goodwill, everybody don't manage goodwill well. You understand what I'm saying? And I say that, mind you, I am not at all suggesting that there is devilry in the expectation of people. You understand? I'm not saying that at all. But you know, when you're outside trying to come into government, you may not have all the information of all the intricacies of resource and what is available to carry out the governance. You understand? And as you get there, you know, you use all your expertise to manage the resource that is there, and you try to equitably, you know, deliver services to everybody. You understand? And I think there are some things that we are working on now, and in the next ensuing week or two and so on, there will be a rollout or something that will bring some additional support. What we are doing in the various divisions, we are going through and see where there are employment opportunity. We are trying to go from division to division and do that. I think one of the accentuated things too is that there's been some employment in the division of health over the last few weeks. And persons were brought in and certified and all of that. But the rollout, health in their wisdom, did not feel it was manageable. It was ideal, let me put it that way, to bring in all the workers at the same time. They decided that they will kind of straddle the time. So they would have, let us say they took in 50 last month, whenever, and 2 weeks later they took another 50. So people are thinking that they took 50 and they're taking new people and how they're not calling me. But these people would have already been certified. You understand? And somebody has been telling them that they need to call the area representative. The area representative will recommend and so on. So people are calling the area and think that the area representative doesn't care about them. How come their name are not on a list? Because new people have been coming, and that is far from the truth. You understand? And I think that kind of information is important for the public to have. Suffice it to say that we are doing everything in our power to find job opportunities for persons that are qualified. But there's a significant percentage of persons who do not necessarily have some of the qualifications for some of the other types of jobs. So the daily paid works, like the early morning thing, that is an issue that we are trying to treat it. And we understand a significant percentage of that are women who are single mothers and have 2 and 3 children and so on. And that is another social issue that we have to tackle, how it is that we have so many women that are testifying that they are on their own taking care of these children. Them children have some father somewhere.
Yes. But in addition to that, you have, expressed the fact that the expectations, how are you managing then the public perception of everything that you just spoke about as being some of the reasons behind, and some of the things that you guys are actually doing behind the scenes that people may not know? How are you managing the public perception, and what is the means of communicating with the residents within your district? Because a lot of persons may have been complaining that accessibility to the representatives, or even just being able to have that conversation with them, just for you to explain, just as you just explained here, might help to quell the situation a bit.
Well, I mean, I think the average representative is accessible. We have our public days where we meet with the population. Most of us have an open door policy, whether it's at your constituency office or even in the division that you work, and so on. I think we are trying for the population to have an appreciation as well. If your area rep is a secretary as well, that is a tremendous amount of added responsibility, where you have responsibility for the entire island. You understand? And each area rep has to now manage that responsibility to the best of his or her ability. We have in the various divisions the communication units and so on that help to get the message out of what we're doing. If we are guilty, it may be that we have not promoted and publicize some of the things that we are doing enough. And we have had that conversation, and we understand that we need to make better on that. You understand? So I feel like whatever is the platform that an area rep uses to honestly have a conversation with his constituents is something that has to be welcomed.
Understood. But we're going to take a little bit of a turn here. Recently, you went to Jamaica with a contingent of other representatives.
Yes.
Tell us about that trip.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into that particular conversation yet, because I will have to come back to deal with that, because for that conversation to be effective, we have to bring some images and some videos and so on that are still being prepared. And I promise you, though, that we will.
But can you give us an indication of the reasoning behind that trip? Why were you in Jamaica?
Well, since we had a plan, since last year, the trip for us at Community Development was since last year we were planning to go, because we have a responsibility given by the executive to build out the community development financing program. And so we wanted to get as much information about that, and we were told that Jamaica has a pretty decent system that they run, and it was important to go and see that. And some other things that they were doing that would assist and support the work that community development is doing.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to continue the conversation here with Area Representative Terance Baynes. Guys, see you soon right after this break.
60,000 people strong. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. And guys, if you're now joining us, I'm so sorry that you missed an entire first half of my conversation here with Area Representative Assemblyman Terance Baynes. We have been speaking about some of the realities that it takes behind being an assemblyman, behind being an area representative. You know, some of the challenges that they often face with trying to deliver to members of their constituents. You know, sometimes you see the glitz and the glam and everything looks so shiny on the outside, but there is a lot that goes into it behind the scenes, as he has expressed, especially coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic and coming out of a season where we had a previous administration that was in power for 21 years, and trying to manage the expectations of the persons who are expecting rapid change. No, we spoke extensively about that, but as we wrap up here this morning in our conversation, we're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing at the level of the Division of Community Development. And the conversation is going to continue right here on Tobago Updates tomorrow.
Yes.
But you guys have initiated a Tobago Road Market Experience.
Yes.
So just tell us a little bit about that and what we can expect from that.
Right. Just in general conversation, the Road Market Experience 7, this is something that we met when we came into office, that the division has been doing an exceptionally good idea. Taking the road market to several different communities. This Friday, we are in Charlottesville. And of course, I want to personally extend an invitation to all those of you who live in the east, west, north, south, and wherever you're coming from, that Charlottesville is the place to be on this Friday for the Road Market 7. And tomorrow, some of the technocrats will be here on set to give more extensive information. But suffice it to say, it is one of those situations where we try to highlight our local entrepreneurs. It's been a fantastic experience. My first experience was the one we had in Castara, and it promises to be bigger and better. So we want the entire Tobago who can make it. We are in Charlottesville tomorrow, and we start in the morning, of course, from somewhere around 9 there, and you will get additional information tomorrow. And we are there right up until in the evening. It's entertainment, it's shopping, it's food, and the ambience of Charlottesville for you. Road Market 7.
Excellent. And as you go, what message do you want to leave with members of your constituents specifically? Right after everything that you would have said on that live, is there anything that you want to clarify anything that you want to say to the people of your area?
Not necessarily clarify, but just let the residents of, or the constituents rather, of Bethel Newgrange know that we are doing everything in our power to bring the kind of support and bring the kind of representation that we promised you. There is one thing, we are going to start that project. It took a year, but thankfully we are almost there. We're going to start that project, the walk-around track in Montgomery, so that would help with our exercise. God knows I need some exercise now myself to walk in the evening time. And we're going to start this very, very soon, so look out for that. And we hope that that project will bring some employment opportunities for some of the young people in and around the constituency as well. And we will just keep you posted about that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. And again, it's always a pleasure to have you here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know, we waste no time here this morning as we continue on with our conversation. I have joining me online Dr. Shane Mohammed, and we are talking about Trinidad and Tobago having a new president. As you know, yesterday we had the inauguration of Christine Kangaloo, and so we have a new president. So guys, that conversation is happening right now. We have Dr. Mohammed joining us. Dr. Mohammed, can you hear me? We're having a little bit of a connectivity issue there. So we're going to be talking a bit more about that presentation that was made yesterday by our new president, Christine Kangaloo. We're also going to talk about the fact that we had a no-show from the opposition. We had the opposition not showing up yesterday at that inaugural ceremony. And we also had a number of our representatives here from the THA that were present at that ceremony yesterday. So the conversation is going to continue here. I hope that Dr. Mohammed can join me soon and we can get that conversation started as soon as possible. But until then, we're going to take a quick break and I'll see you right after that break.
To a brand new dawning as the passion